Welcome, fellow parishioners, St. Joseph and St. Anne, to our daily scripture reflection. Today being Monday of Holy Week, a very special week, and our prayer for one another is that we certainly become a little bit holier as we journey with Jesus. The gospel today places us only 6 days before the Passover. It's the Gospel of John. We have him visiting Martha, Mary, and Lazarus. Lazarus is kind of a character that we could probably easily forget because we think he's not someone who deserves very much attention. But he certainly held the attention of the Jewish leaders because this is the Lazarus that Jesus raised from the dead. And so the gospel summarizes all that we know about Lazarus. He was the brother of Martha and Mary. He was a friend and a follower of Jesus. He died 4 days later. Jesus raised him from the dead. And he welcomed Jesus again into his home in Bethany, just 6 days before the Passover. He was present, as we have in this passage, when Mary anointed the feet of Jesus and when Judas Iscariot objected. So we know very little, but we don't even have any of Lazarus' thoughts or his words recorded in Scripture, but it was to his house that Jesus paid another visit. Okay, they threw a dinner party for Jesus, and Mary anointed the feet of Jesus and wiped them with her tears. This good act sparked a controversy started by Judas Iscariot, who said, "Why was this perfume not sold for 300 denarii and the money given to the poor?" I'm sure all of us remember that old adage, that proverb. Our faults irritate us most when we see them in others. There's so much truth to that. How many times, for example, do we notice with judgment the behavior of others, only later to realize that we do the very same thing ourselves? That old proverb gives us some great insight into human behavior. There's a version of this passage of the gospel in all four of the gospels, 3 synoptic gospels, and in the Gospel of John, with some slight variations, but all four have really one thing in common. There are people who are indignant at the good behavior, at a display of affection that Mary took for Jesus. Okay? They complain it costs too much, it's a waste, and as Judas says, that money could have been given to the poor. Well, we might want to consider whether this is a reflection of us at times as well. Namely, a little too cynical, ready to judge even a good thing. See, John explains that Judas's words were said not because he actually cared for the poor, but because he was a thief. His judgment was not based on some wonderful moral principle or on any kind of altruistic, unselfish motive, but to mask the truth of himself, his underlying heart. He attempted to deceive others, perhaps even deceiving himself. And so today might be a good time for us to question ourselves, our motives, our judgments. And here's the question: is love of God and love of neighbor the basis of my actions and my decisions? Do these two great commandments inform my point of view? Or do I judge others based on my own sinfulness, my own weaknesses? Namely, seeing in others what bothers me about myself. Just something to think about, I think, as we reflect today and the beginning of this Holy Week on Scripture and the journey of Jesus and our journey towards a better, renewed life. Thanks for listening. God bless. Have a great day too.